the world has fundamentally changed since the first major spreadsheet, Excel, was built. And then since even Google Sheets was released 16 years ago. The way we work now, the way we have access to data, the way we work as teams is fundamentally different. And so, the bet behind Equals is, what would it look like to build a spreadsheet that fits this era's work?
Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. 20-Minute Leaders is a proud supporter of Make-A-Wish Israel and Tech to Peace, and is in proud collaboration with Secret Chord Ventures, J Ventures, Riverside FM, Fusion VC, Birthright Excel, J Impact, Leap, Google for Startups, and Hippo, and in media partnership with C-Tech. Bobby Pinero, welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Michael. Really appreciate it.
Awesome to have you here. You're working on a startup, which is in an industry that I really love. I love SaaS. I love data. I love connecting to data sources. I love when people do it for me so that I can extract insights. And so I already love Equals. Soon I'm going to love it even more because I'm going to know the story behind Equals. But before we get into that, tell me a little bit about yourself, Bobby, a little bit about your upbringing and what has sort of led you to start this company.
Yeah. I'm originally, I was born in Puerto Rico, and I lived there for the first 4 or 5 years of my life and moved to the US, moved to Washington, D.C. area. I grew up there. And I remember I saved up. The first job I had as a lifeguard. And before that, my mom was an accountant. I used to go into her office and do just like little random accounting tasks that she would pay me to do. And all I wanted to do was save up to buy a computer and to be able to get online and to be able to play computer games and just have my own computer. And so always have been kind of just really eager and excited to be a part of the internet and be playing with computers. And so tech has always been just a kind of passion and an interest of mine. And then, I had the great fortune of going to Stanford for college, took a class there, which really kind of, gave me the kind of entrepreneurial bug, or kind of really fortified that for me. It was this engineering entrepreneurship class that taught by a guy named Steve Blank, who it was in over the course of 10 weeks, you had to start your own startup. And I loved it. That was like by far and away, at the end of the 10 weeks, you had to pitch VCs, and like that was it. I was like, that's what I want to do. It was really fun. And so after college, I went and joined IBM, a massive company. I heard about it, I think. Yeah. Learned in 2 years that working in a 400,000 person company is not my jam. And then kind of progressively worked my way into smaller companies, joined a startup, like 100-person startup after leaving IBM, and then got lucky and joined Intercom when it was 20 people. Spent 8 years there, built Intercom from 20 people to 700 people, from less than $1 million in ARR to, a couple $100 million in ARR. And then, I just feel like I've been progressing towards this kind of point in my journey of being able to start my own thing. And, now I feel fully aligned. I feel like this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing.
What does that mean? That you feel like you're doing what you think you're supposed to be doing. Let's unlock that statement a little bit, if you will.
Yeah. But I think for me, what I've always, so I've been in kind of finance, analytical type roles for the last decade. And I am a very analytical person. I am somebody who likes to work in numbers and data, but there's also a part of me, and maybe a part of me that wasn't fed as much by the roles I was in previously. A part of me that is really creative and loves to bring a part of myself to the world and kind of express myself in these creative ways and learn not just what it's like to run a business from an analytical point of view, but what it's like to market something, to sell something, to build product, to, touch all facets of the business. And so, this equals, first and foremost, is like the truest sense of, it's like the thing I wish had existed for myself. It's this passion project to try to help people that are in roles that I'm in. It's also this creative expression of, myself, my co-founder, Ben, the broader team. It's our mark on the world. And that's what I've known I wanted to do for a long, long time. And so when I say it's aligned to kind of what I want to be working on, that's what I mean.
All right, so let's dive into the formation of Equals. Paint me a picture of the world 2 years ago. You're thinking about going about a journey. Let's sort of unfold the story of what you understood that led to the realization of Equals.
Yeah. So Equals comes from, like I said, I've been an analyst for the last decade. This is, I've been in the role of the people that we're trying to, solve a lot of pain for. And so there's maybe a few kind of seeds that were planted. I'll tell you a couple stories. One is at IBM, we use this tool called Essbase. It's an Oracle product. It was a plugin to Excel, and it's this OLAP cube that basically you can, with the click of a button, import any data that you want into your Excel workbook. And it was magic. It was like, oh my God, made my life so easy as an analyst to be able to pull something in, know it was right, know where it came from, know that I can reproduce it at any point in time because I know, the dimensions upon which I pulled this into my spreadsheet. And so the thing was at IBM, we had, I don't know how many tens of engineers managing this Oracle Essbase instance for like a team of 40, 50 finance folks. And so just not a reasonable thing for any startup to have.
Yep.
Then I went to another company, kind of didn't have these tools. It was painful. I was building all these forecast models and things like that, spending far too much of my time just updating them, maintaining them. Every Friday at Intercom, for example, we did this weekly forecast review. I'd spend 3 hours every morning running SQL queries, updating my model. I'd forget to update a query. I'd spend the next 2 hours trying to reproduce the query that I had used the last week to make the model right because our data had somehow changed, et cetera, et cetera. So there's all that pain that I've lived for the last decade. And then, but the fundamental thesis behind Equals is that the spreadsheet's actually the best way to do analyses. People want a spreadsheet. And, my other big frustration as an analyst over the last decade is just being pitched every data tool. And every data tool basically every new data tool that's emerged falls into one of three categories. Yet another BI tool. Yeah. And God help us if we need another BI tool. Notebooks, right? And notebooks are interesting. There's some really cool ones out there, but notebooks are, they really serve a tiny fraction of the population of people doing analyses. And then there's these spreadsheet alternatives, which are trying to wage war against the spreadsheet. And it's oh, we'll give you some other way, some simpler way to model your business. And I'm no, I like the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet's great. Most people like the spreadsheet. They know how to use it. They've built their career off of learning how to use a spreadsheet, how to build it. It's flexible. It's this magical canvas that lets you paint and move data around and touch and feel it and build compounding things. And so our whole bet is the spreadsheet's not wrong. It's actually right. But the world has fundamentally changed since the first major spreadsheet, Excel, was built. And then since even Google Sheets was released 16 years ago. The way we work now, the way we have access to data, the way we work as teams is fundamentally different. And so, the bet behind Equals is, what would it look like to build a spreadsheet that fits this era's work?
Yeah. And so let's talk a little bit about the product and the connectedness to data sources. That's something that, obviously is a big deal here in a world. And perhaps we can start with just a little bit about, what I as a startup, perhaps am experiencing in terms of the way that my data is structured and how we can actually leverage that to build the next evolution of what Excel should be.
Yeah. So, we started with data, connecting with data, because that's just a really obvious and painful part of working in spreadsheets today. And it's a really painful part of how everybody from analysts to founders to marketing ops to sales ops to biz ops and marketers in general, a lot of pain felt kind of across the board there. But I guess the thing I'd say is one of the magical parts about Equals, particularly for kind of startups who we're kind of focused on first, is there's not another data tool on the planet that lets you actually connect to multiple different data sources and work with them all in one place. And so if you're a founder, you haven't gone through the process of consolidating all of your data into one data warehouse, right? Like startups have not bought Fivetran, they've not implemented DBT, they haven't put all of their data into a data warehouse and built these big flat tables that then they can join up really nicely, and they don't have all these analytics engineers that are pulling it all and combining it for them nicely. So the reality of a founder is, if you want to build an analysis that looks at your funnel, you're going to Google Analytics for your traffic. You're maybe going to Mixpanel to understand what's happening in your funnel. And then you're going to Stripe to see who actually paid you. And doing that is this manual nightmare. It's okay, I'm going to log in all these different places. And the results of that is you won't do it as often as you should. You might do it once a month. You might do it once every couple of weeks because it's really annoying to do. But with Equals, you just plug Equals directly into GA, to Mixpanel, to Stripe, and then you can use all your spreadsheet formulas, the things that you already know how to do, to smash it all together, to build that funnel view for yourself. And then you can update it as many times as you want, as often as you want, daily, hourly. And so you just have a much better view of kind of what's going on in your business, and you've done so in a tool that's really easy to use that you essentially already know how to use.
So how much of it is a sort of a view only versus, editable, interactive studio? Because it sounds like a lot of this data is being pulled in. I'm curious from a product perspective, how do you transition from a passive reading mechanism to a more active participatory, data engineering type mindset?
Well, that's actually the most beautiful part about Equals. And
there you go. I know what to ask.
Well, if you think about BI tools, for example, if you could build your entire funnel analysis in a BI tool, that's great. And you can look at it. And one of the most common things that happens after you build a funnel and build a dashboard in any BI tool is, great, but now what happens when I want to do this? Or, okay, that's great. Yeah, I see what conversion is today, but what is the lead volume going to be tomorrow when we do this marketing campaign, or a month from now, or 3 months from now? How many leads we have to get to this number? And so guess what? You take all that data from your BI tool, you download it into a spreadsheet, and you do that analysis. And so the power of Equals is that it actually gives you the BI functionality. It allows you to build these automated views into your business, but then you can right there alongside that automated view, not have to go to another tool, not have to download this other thing. You can build out your analysis from there, right there alongside it, because you have a spreadsheet.
Yeah, I love it. So obviously, you're the beginning of what sounds like a pretty cool journey, and definitely something that I can as a potential customer, I can see the various use cases as you take the experiences that you've had at Intercom and IBM and et cetera, and prior. You've experienced hyper growth SaaS personally. Well, what are you taking with you sort of as something to keep in the back of your mind, sort of as the, sort of the chief in command here, as you're going about building and scaling equals around, from your previous experiences?
Yeah. Oh man, so many lessons. I think some of the things that I'm taking with me are, look, like startups, especially at our stage and the early days of Intercom, for example, it's so much about how quickly you move. You're not going to be right on many things that you do. You're going to this is a iterating game. This is a try as fast as you can, as many different things as you possibly can, see what works. And so the thing that we continue to talk about internally is how do we try as much as we possibly can, as fast as we can? How do we continue to drive? We close the Series A, and the last thing I want that to do for the team is create any sort of complacency or feelings like, hey, we've made it or we've figured something out. We've not, and we got to go. We got to keep going, and we got to, move even faster now as we kind of hire more folks and get to a different level of scale. So speed is something I think a lot about, and I think something we did really, really well in the early Intercom days. And then, it really just comes down to, I know this will sound simple, but it really comes down to the quality and the types of folks that you bring onto the team. The team is everything. And so, one of the things that we did at Intercom that I thought was really well was just hire for people with it sounds, it's cliche, but it's with a steep slope, right? It's people who are on a trajectory in their career, who are really motivated, who are really hungry, who are really gonna go kind of work hard and go above and beyond and see this as an opportunity to take a huge step in their career, as opposed to just a kind of another, just another job. And so hiring is something that we're focused on, keeping the bar for who we hire and who we keep at equals insanely high.
I love that. Hire with a steep slope. I'm going to take that with me. I think I'm going to tell that to my co-founder after this. So thank you. Thank you for that already. Tell me a little bit about how, where you are in this journey, and how does this fit into sort of your vision of yourself as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I am. I'm in the learning how to be we're now 11 folks. The plan is to, by the end of next year, be anywhere between 30 to 40 folks. So we're going to hire pretty aggressively. I think I've managed teams this big before at Intercom, but one of the challenges for me now is, what does it mean to be CEO at this scale? What are the types of things that I should be working on? What are the types of things that I shouldn't be working on? How do I, plant seeds within the company and then kind of nourish them so that they can take on as many things as they possibly can and do their best work. And so, just trying to kind of figure out how I work as a leader, how I kind of evolve into this next step as a CEO, and there'll be many, many more steps beyond that.
That's awesome. All right, my favorite question that I am always waiting to: moments of delight in your own world, in your own day to day. And if you're thinking about what really gets you in this flow, the most effortless moments in the journey. What comes to mind?
Certainly, when our customers reach out to us and share some story about how Equals somehow made their life better, or how they're excited about a new feature that we shipped, or how they shared it with somebody else in their organization and they got excited about it and built something in Equals. Like those are the moments where I feel, I guess, maybe the most fulfilled and maybe a little bit different angle than what you were asking, but those are the moments where I feel the most gratitude and fulfillment and excitement for what we're working on, because again, for me, the most important thing with Equals, obviously we want to build a big company. Obviously we want to have a big impact on the world. We want to create great returns for our investors, for ourselves. But the thing that's most important for me is just helping analysts. And it's like all the pain that I've lived as an analyst, it's like, I want to help them. I want to make their lives better. I want to give them a tool that's built for them, that's fun, that's light on their fingertips, that's joyous to use, that's, for all the engineers got GitHub, designers got Figma, product managers and, other folks got tools like Notion and Coda that they're excited about and they get to work in all day, every day. Us finance people, biz ops people, analyst type folks, we've been stuck in Excel for 40 years. Where's our tool? Where's our tool? So that's the thing I'm most excited about. And then just in terms of flow state for me, I think, the thing that helps me the most there is just being really, really intentional and deliberate every day about what I'm working on and what's the biggest priority, because there's so many things that can happen. And so it's being really clear about what I'm not working on and what I am working on. And that if I can get very clear on that, then it's actually just much easier for me to kind of flow into what I'm doing.
I really, really love that. Bobby, thank you so much for your time and for your energy. I really look forward to cheering from the side on the journey of Equals. Appreciate everything, and take care, and best of luck with this amazing journey.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks for having me on. And yeah, any feedback on Equals, we'd love to hear it.
I'll be ready to give it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.